Hey guys, I just want to let you know, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain, okay? So it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or a computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That's right. And it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Nothing beats that. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome back, you guys. I hope you guys are ready. You grab a hot cup of tea, some water. Let me take a sip. Some coffee. Whatever it is to get you in that mood of actually listening in. I do want to give a shout out to anybody that is on their way to work or from work, or anyone that is maybe your kids are napping right now, or maybe you're just I needed to listen to something that I know was going to motivate me or inspire me or cause to challenge me. What I really hope is that these podcasts actually challenge you more than anything else, challenge you to better your life, challenge you to get up and get going, and challenge you just to become better than you were yesterday. So if that's you, if you've actually taken the time, it just to me shows that you're wanting some type of growth, that you're allowing yourself to listen in instead of maybe turning on the music or the news or whatever is going on in the radio. And you're like, you know what? I want to plug in. I want to go ahead and switch it. And that was a subject that we had talked about, disciplines. You guys remember? If you haven't, I highly suggest and I highly encourage anyone that is listening to this podcast episode to go back and listen from the very beginning. And you're like, wow, that's 20 something episodes, right? Something episodes, right? That is what I mean by discipline. Allowing yourself for the next 15, 20 days to, instead of doing what you were doing before that clearly probably was not working, allow yourself a new discipline. Allow yourself a new habit. Allow yourself to not put these self-imposed limitations or excuses on your own life to be better. So 3 areas of life where we could have better discipline, right? We talked about it, but I didn't really give specifics. I want to explain to you guys what really has worked for me. I always get asked, well, what has worked for you? I know that you talk about this, but what really wasn't? So a couple of areas of my life that I had to learn to discipline better was my spiritual life. Now, don't log off. We're not going to turn this into a big, religious thing. I just want to go ahead and leave this here that I'm an amateur when it comes to this area of my life. And I'm actually very happy that I'm an amateur because it brings that excitement in me to learn something new, in this vital area of my life. This area of my life, once I started to develop it, once I started to evaluate it, once I started to look at it differently, I just started to feel it and I started to become better because of it. And, for some people, their situations are different. I really wasn't the type of kid that grew up in a church. My parents weren't really religious. We moved from one country to the next. So whatever values and stuff that they held, I believe it was a lot challenging for them to keep those values here when they had to go to a new norm, when they had to adapt back to the basics of, man, I don't even know English, so I have to feed this kid. So in their mind, growing in the spiritual self or in their faith, it really wasn't a priority at that time. Can I blame them? No, because they were just fight or flight mode. They were trying to survive as adults in a country where they didn't know the language and getting any job that they could and raising us. So my parents made their sacrifices. So I had to think, where in my life am I willing to change? Where in my life am I willing to make sacrifices to discipline to get better? So one of the ways, and my spiritual and my self-development has been recent within the last 3 years, I want to say. So it's completely brand new. I'm completely a baby at it. And I am so excited. I cannot wait to see, how much growth I get to have and I get to give in the next year, 2, 5, 10, 15, 35, right? So the next way is the first way that I started working on my personal development was my physical. Because physical most people can see. Physical most people can feel. Physical most people want. You want those hashtag body goals. You want to hashtag small waist. So I know that, if you guys read up on certain things, like it says, we should treat our bodies like a temple. And I want you guys to think about this as well. And I'm going to get into that next. But sometimes we focus so much on the physical that we forget everything else. Everything else, and everything else is also important. Let me explain to you what I mean about everything else, right? So let's face it, how we appear matters. If you show up for a job interview, right, in basketball shorts, you're most likely not going to get hired, even if you have the skills, because your appearance, your physical self-development, how you're improving, how you're progressing. Am I telling you to go buy everything new, everything brand name? Absolutely not. What I am encouraging you is to develop yourself physically so that you become better than you were yesterday. Maybe you don't like, exercise. So maybe guess what you start doing? You start going for a walk around the block and your neighbors start to see you and they've never seen you. You start making new friends. You start to encourage other people because of your journey. You start to allow yourself to be, disciplined in your commitment to develop yourself physically. And that's where your confidence is going to come in. That's where it's going to start showing up when you're like, wow, I haven't felt like this in who knows how long. Have you ever heard those people say that? Like, I don't know when it was the last time that I felt this good. I don't know when the last time that I felt so happy. I don't know when it was the last time that I felt so free. Right? So I highly encourage you guys to work on your physical. Give yourselves minimum 30 minutes a day. Allow it of yourself. It's your responsibility and you deserve to feel good. You deserve to look good. You deserve to carry yourself to your maximum efforts, right? So, do you have a regular exercise program? Do you have a regular nutrition program? Right? If not, guys, I encourage you to find one and follow it and get started. In addition, paying attention to what you're eating, right? And I'm not here to lecture you guys on diet and exercise. Everyone knows that in order to be in shape, that in order to feel good, cut out all the bullshit, it's nutrition and exercise. How you feel about yourself and how you look says a lot about how you feel about yourself. I had that backwards. So how you look says a lot about how you feel about yourself. Someone that's stressed out and eating in private is going to show physical results in public, right? Vice versa. Someone that's working on themselves really hard in private is going to show those physical results in public. So the next one, which I had no idea on because they never taught me in school, was mental self-development. Wow. I just started to realize that there's more classes on mental self-development, right? So this is what I was trying to tell you, that many people stop pursuing this mental self-development after, they graduate college, they kind of learn what they need to learn. They learn their niche in the marketplace, and then your learning curve just kind of plateaus. You guys ever remember those learning curves, like their growing spurts when the kids were little, and you're like, wow, they're growing, they're doing this, they're doing that, and now, after you're a certain age, it just kind of stops. As far as not just how tall you are or how much you weigh, I also mean in how much you're willing to learn. Something that I heard within the last couple of years, and it really blew my mind. A child is willing to learn as many languages as you're willing to teach them. They don't have a limit in their mind that says, okay, I can only learn 3 languages. I can only learn 10 languages. No, it's as many languages as you're willing to teach them, they're going to learn because their mental capacity and their mind is so hungry to learn, to grow. And this was like a smack in the face for me because we have kids. So I really I'm like, wow, what am I teaching my kids? What are my kids actually learning? Right? And I say this because, I've seen it. I've seen that as, technology accelerates, as, we're trying to grow, with a busy schedule and a busy life, it just becomes that we don't work on our mental self. So when something happens, like a major quote unquote pandemic, we bail. We bail on ourselves. We bail on the most important person that we need to be most consistent and most committed to and most disciplined with, which is ourselves. Because it's not just you. It no longer becomes about you. There's people that are depending on you, and I don't mean financially, and I don't mean in certain areas. I mean just looking up to you to see, what is she going to do next? What is he going to do next? In the midst of everything that's going on, like, are they willing to take the risk? Are they going to back off? Are they going to play it safe? Are they going to continue to keep going? Are they going to continue to show up? Are they going to go ahead and be better? What are they going to do? So I really want you to understand that, if you work on your mind and you feed your body and you feed your spirit and you allow yourself to grow in these areas of your life, that your life over time with disciplines every single day is going to get better. Let me give you an example. I told you guys about the buttered bread, right? If you want to lose weight, start off by eating your bread unbuttered. Do you want to visit another country? In the next upcoming year or so, maybe the country of your dreams, start by setting aside $10 out of your paycheck, right? Do you want to go ahead and be more punctual? Like, I had such a challenging time being on time, and I would blame, my background. I would blame my race. I would blame my parents. I would blame the cars on the street. I would blame that there was no gas in my car. No, all I did was start getting up half an hour earlier. All I did was start leaving my house 20 minutes earlier. Let me give you guys a tip for that. If you have a challenging time being on time and being punctual, set your appointment time 15 minutes, 30 minutes before, and you'll show up early, and it will just become second nature because now you're building that discipline and now you're building that habit. Do you want to make that $1 million sale? Yes, yes, yes. Do you want to make $1 million? Right? Start by making the $20 sale. Start by being happy with the $15 that you're earning. Start by, being and adding value back so that you are worth people wanting to give you that $1 million that is going to compound over time. Something that I see that affects, things every day is the discipline or lack thereof. So, guys, once you set a standard for yourself, you will act upon that standard. Your daily disciplines will show that standard, and it will show and it will come out in the rest of your performances. Why? Because doing less than you are capable of doing is going to create low self-esteem. Your confidence is going to be on the floor. So a lack of self-esteem is essentially why most people are like, I can't be successful. I can't do certain things. I can't get to my body goals. I can't save the money. I can't keep a job. So I challenge you guys to take this short podcast today and discipline yourself to write the most important thing that stuck out to you. And because it stuck out to you, I want you to go ahead and address it. I want you to go ahead and I challenge you to put it into action. Not tomorrow, not in 20 days, not January 1st, not Monday, but right now. Something that stuck out to you. Maybe right now you're sitting at the table and you were thinking about having bread and you're like, nope, I'm not even going to have bread today because she said unbuttered and it's just not going to happen. Maybe you just got paid and you're like, do I really want to spend the money on new shoes, or do I really want to go ahead and invest in a nutrition program? Which one is going to pay me more later down the road? Quantity of life or quality of life versus quantity of life, right? So I encourage you guys to stay blessed. I encourage you guys to make it a challenge to learn to self-discipline in the small, so then the universe or God can bless you in the big.